Hello guys, now we are going to explain about accounting process and book of account. The source document that we are choose is official receipt, invoice, cash bill and a check. So my team and I, we are going to explain what is the source document that we are choose and what the function of it. What the function of it. So I hope you enjoy and hear it properly.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Azaeim bin Shahrizan from DLS 1B. My metric number is 23 DLS 21F2034. From the source document, I take the official receipt for my presentation video. Okay, but before that, do you guys know what the source document is? Okay, never mind, let me explain it. The source document I use or received by a business had taken place. It also be used by the business for future difference or as growth of business activity. Beside that, those documents I use to record transaction because they are original transaction and show this an objectivity report of the business activity. The function is it issued by a receiver of payment to the payer for all payment made by cash or check. The receipts are accounting source normally issued. This is mean of receipt. The receipts are accounting source document normally issued to acknowledge that money has been received by one party from another. The receipt will typically show particular of the money received, including the parties to the transaction, the date and the amount of money. When a seller, for example, when a seller makes a cash sale of good to the buyer, the seller will issue a receipt to the buyer to show that the cash has been received in payment for the good. The original cash receipt is sent to the buyer and a copy of the cash receipt is retained by the seller to support the double entry bookkeeping transaction. From where we are gonna record all the cash receipt in bookkeeping entry. It is summary of the cash book. We record all the cash receipt during the whole year on its debit side, whereas we write all the cash payment for the whole year on its credit side in the cash book. But on the journal, we record at cash receipt journal entry. This is some scenario for cash receipt in order to help you acknowledge about this topic. Thank you.
Invoice is about when seller sells goods on account to the buyer. It is to an invoice. The original invoice is sent to the buyer, and a copy to the invoice is retained by the seller to support the double entry bookkeeping transaction in the accounting record. The users in invoice is in credit transaction only and issued by seller. Used to record transaction for invoice is in purchase journal and sales journals. Purchase journal is to record goods purchased on credit that invoice received from the supplier, and a sales record is to record credit in sales from invoice sent to account receivable. Invoice is like an example invoice that I have copied here. Invoice will typically show particulars of the goods or service sold, including the parties to the transaction, terms of payment, the date, quantity, and price. Like example, I put here we have the date, quantity, price, and term of payment. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is NEGHA Surendran Kumar. My metric number is 23 DLS 21 F2004 and I am from class DLS 1B. Today I'm going to present about source of document, transaction and book of prime. I have a scenario or a short story regarding what type of source of document I choose. I chose cash bill as my source of document. Okay, let me tell you what is my scenario. Mr. Andrew has been doing a hardware business for the past 3 years. On the 20th of April, Mr. Matt bought some pipes and drill sets from Mr. Andrew's hardware. The sale transaction has taken place where the payment is cash and it's been recorded in cash book. And also Mr. Matt got his cash bill. Okay, what is the source document used in Mr. Andrew's business cash? Mr. Andrew's business. The source of document is cash bill. What is cash bill means? Okay, cash bill means a documented receipt of a cash payment as opposed to an invoice or promise to pay. Example, cash bill is the buyer receives a cash invoice from the business person for the sales of goods made to him. On the receipt, the seller records the transaction by crediting the accounts payable and debiting in the asset expense accounts for the same. What is bill actually? Let me tell you more detail about it. The total amount of payments has a valid receipt and proof of valid transaction in the buying and selling process, has a source of data in the books of company for a certain period. Next, I would like to continue with the book of prime, where cash will be recorded in cash book. Okay, what is book of prime? Book of prime is entry is another step in accounting where the first accounting transactions are recorded. Example, what is cash book here? Cash book is a special type of book that is only concerned with the recording of cash transaction of an organization. It performs the dual of both journal and ledger for all the cash transaction taking place in a business organization. A cash book records all the receipts on the debit side and all the cash payments of the organization on the credit side. Advantages of cash books: it helps in creating a regular record of transactions date-wise for the convenience of accounting personnel, and as it is maintained date-wise, any cash payments or the transaction can be correctly traced by in the cash book. Okay, more about cash book is the cash book is used to record receipts and payments of cash. It works as a book of original entry as well as a ledger account. The entries related to receipt and payment of cash are first recorded in the cash book and then posted to the relevant ledger, which means recorded in the relevant ledger. There are 3 types of cash book: single column cash, double column cash book and triple column cash book. Thank you.
Shankare and I'm from DLS 1B. My metric number is 23 DLS 21 F2038. Okay, now we are going to see about check. A check is a written order to a bank authorizing the bank to pay an amount of money to the person named on check. For example, a buyer of goods may issue a check to a seller to pay for the goods. In this instance, the original check is sent to the seller and the counterfoil in the checkbook is retained by the buyer to support the double entry bookkeeping transaction in the accounting records. The usage of check is evidence that payment has been made by check. So we can record our check in book of prime in cash book. Cash book used to record all the receipt and payments made by cash or check. And then the importance of the cash book is to avoid misuse of cash or cash deviations, and all cash inflows and outflows can be identified easily. The closing balance can be identified to avoid lack of cash. Okay, the entry of the cash book is to record cash received in debit cash column. To record cash withdraw, credit cash column. To record check received or cash at bank, debit bank column. To record check issued, that credit bank column. Cash book can record opening cash or bank balance including overdrafts. And then receipt and payment by cash or check, transfer of cash from the bank or vice versa, discount received or discount allowed, dishonest checks, and closing cash or bank balance. Okay, now you guys seeing the check of CIMB Islamic Bank. Okay, on the top of left hand side you can see the bank name. After that you can see the branch of the bank, and then you can see the pay details. On that pay details we have to we can wrote like Shankare's Florist, like that, Enterprise, Ilakian Enterprise, like that. After that you can see in the bottom of your right hand side of the check you can see the check amount in words. So okay, on your left side you have to fill up the check with the words, not in numbers. For example, if 200 means you have to fill up with the words, not with numbers. Okay, on the bottom of the left side you can see lastly the check number. Okay, where you can see here the check number of CIMB Islamic Bank's check. Okay, on your right side you can see the date, and then and the down you can see the check amount in numbers. So on your right side you have to write the amount in numbers, not in word. The word we must write in on your left hand side. The number you must write in right hand side. Okay, after that you can see the issued signature. Okay, after that you can see the payer. Okay, now scenario time. Okay, for the scenario I have a enterprise. Its name is Ken Enterprise. So I buy some bundle of flowers from the seller. So I transfer the money by the checks. I use check to transfer the money. So now you can see the check of that I pass it to my seller. Like an enterprise. So I'm selling flowers, so I take the bundle of flower from the seller. So now I have to pay the money to the seller by the check. This is the check that I transfer the money to the seller.